Hello, hello, hello. How are you? So let's get this together. It's been a while since I have went live with all of you guys. So how are you tonight? So I'm going live simultaneously with TikTok as well. So let's see how this all pans out today. So today we are going to be talking about winning strategies. So let me winning strategies for government contracts. And I'll give people time to join.
Yo. Give it my one chicken up, bro. You know, have a friend link leader. We look and see what I want. All right, cool. Yeah.
Okay, we are all set up. So today we are talking about winning strategies for government contracts, the insider strategies for finding the right opportunities. So, first things first, many people, when they're getting into government contracting, they just want to get into government contracting just to win the money, right? Just to win the awards. But how can you win if you don't have a strategy? So, let's talk about that. I am Dr. Ebony Gray. I am a graduate of the world's greatest George Washington University MBA. One thing I learned from the MBA course is how to strategize, how to build your network, how to play to win, and not just locally, but globally, right? Because you have to think bigger. You can't just think inside one box, think global, right? How can you win these international contracts? How can you win contracts not just in your local vicinity, right? So I'm located in Maryland, but how can you win contracts all throughout the United States? So that's something to think about. I know many of you have some anxiety, right, with everything that's going on with the federal government. do contracts still exist, right? How can you get contracts? But guess what? You have the federal level contracts. And typically for the federal contracts, you will find those contract opportunities in sam.gov, right? But you also have your local contracts, which the local contracts can consist of your city. So thinking of Maryland, let's say your city is Laurel. So you may have contracts in Laurel, Maryland. And then you have your county. So in Laurel, they have multiple counties. They have Prince George's County, they have Howard County, and they have Anne Arundel County. So you can look at your county, or say, for instance, you lived in Albany, Maryland. So Albany, Maryland, you would have the city of Albany, and then you would have the county of Montgomery County, and then you would go even higher to the state, which is Maryland. So you have contract opportunities in all of those areas. So Maryland has this great, great, great procurement site called Emma. And Emma is essentially, it should store, right, all of the contracts relevant to Maryland. But I can tell you, guess what? There's no foolproof method. There's no one-stop shop. Emma will have majority of the contracts, but I would still look at Emma to look at all of the Maryland opportunities. And then I would go deeper and look at Montgomery County procurement opportunities. And then I would go even deeper and look at the specific cities like Rockville, Silver Spring, Albany, and look and see if they have procurement opportunities. But guess what? That's not it. What do we have in Maryland? And as I'm talking about Maryland, because I'm using Maryland as the test bed, also think about opportunities in your own backyard. So make this relevant to your specific city. So what else do you have in your city, in your county, in your state? Guess what? You have schools. The schools may or may not be in your local or state procurement platform. You will have to go to those individual schools. And when I say schools, I'm talking your elementary schools, I'm talking your middle schools or junior high schools, and your high schools. I'm talking your major colleges and universities. All of those entities have procurement opportunities. So guess what? You would need to go to those distinct portals for procurement opportunities. So you can look up, I will use colleges and universities. So let's say Bowie State University procurement opportunities, University of Maryland procurement opportunities, Howard University procurement opportunities. So you would go directly to those distinct entities and source for procurement opportunities at those colleges and universities. Our community colleges, right? They have lots of opportunities. We can look at Prince George's Community College procurement opportunities, or Montgomery College procurement opportunities, because there could be opportunities. So when we're talking about colleges and universities, let's think perhaps their business school. Maybe they require someone to come in and teach marketing or AI, right? They need an AI consultant, or perhaps they need someone to help them understand how to transition into the federal government or into private employment. So maybe they'll have a procurement opportunity for that. They have the same needs as the federal government or any other entity. Maybe they need help with IT, right? Maybe they're trying to implement, like Blackboard used to be an entity where they would store the grades and where they would administer the courses. So maybe there's a new platform, or maybe you have a platform to introduce to these local colleges and universities that could be a procurement opportunity. Guess what else? You have your airports, right? So we have BWI, we have DCA, DC Reagan, we have Dulles International Airport. So all of the airports have procurement opportunities too. So when you think about the airports, think about this. What do you see happening when you walk through the airports? What's the first thing that you see? You may see security. That could be a procurement opportunity. So you would look at your airport and look up procurement opportunities, BWI procurement opportunities, DCA procurement opportunities, Dulles procurement opportunities. So you notice just in this conversation, just in these first 5 minutes, I've already told you multiple sourcing sites. There is no such thing as a one-stop shop. You would go to, I will use BWI because BWI is very prominent. They're very great at outreach as well as procurement opportunities. So you would go to BWI procurement opportunities, right? Just Google BWI procurement opportunities. And with that, you may have opportunities for catering. So let's say, I know on I'll use Southwest too, because the airlines have procurement opportunities. So you can look up Southwest procurement opportunities or American Airlines procurement opportunities. But one distinct thing, I like these pretzels, right? They're the Maui pretzels on Southwest Airlines. Say, for instance, you have some pretzels, some popcorn, some sort of treats that you want to sell to the airlines. That's a procurement opportunity. Just imagine Maui pretzels probably never thought that the opportunity existed. But I tell you, I love those pretzels, and I love those cookies too. On Delta, the good old cookies that Delta provides. Guess what? That's a procurement opportunity too. If you have some good cookies that you want to provide to airline passengers, you could potentially pitch, right, to the multiple airlines your cookies. They could have procurement opportunities for your cookies or for your cakes or for your popcorn or for your pretzels, whatever it is that you want to offer. Those are procurement opportunities. And you might say, well, how do I get my pretzels? How do I get my cakes or my popcorn or my peanuts? No, don't do peanuts because a lot of people are allergic to peanuts. But how do you get your product right in front of the airlines for them to actually procure your products? So again, you would go to that airline, so Southwest procurement opportunities, and also look for procurement events locally around you. So you can Google procurement events in Baltimore, Maryland, right? And show up, because many times these procurement officials, the decision makers, are right there and they just want to meet you. They have to know that you exist. But okay, say for instance, you go to Southwest procurement portal and they're saying they're looking for a vendor to provide XYZ product or snacks, right, to passengers. Then you would contact them. The first thing I would do, I wouldn't even think about, oh, let me just submit, right, a response to this procurement opportunity. I would be figuring out who is the decision maker, right? Who is the person, who is the procurement official that I need to get in contact with. So that way I can just meet with them. First of all, once they taste my pretzels, right, Ebony's special pretzels, they are going to fall in love. So you want to see if you can find the procurement official, request a meeting with that procurement official, have your capabilities brief ready. And when I say capabilities briefing, that's describing your organization, right? Making sure that you're prepared with your unique entity identifier and cage code, which you'll get through sam.gov, which I'll talk about next. You want to make sure that you describe what you do, right? I am Ebony. I am the creator of these amazing pretzels, right? They just melt in your mouth as you eat them. And essentially, everybody in the world needs to have my pretzels. So that is what I'm portraying, right, in my capabilities briefing when I'm meeting with these procurement officials, or maybe I'm vending at procurement events. So I have my pretzels all on the table, right? I have all of my information. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go to do business with the airlines or airports. And you're tasting my pretzels. So you know that everybody in the world needs my pretzels. So that's how you can essentially network, right, or navigate your way into these procurement opportunities with major airlines or the airport. So let's go back to the airport. So airlines, you're talking the food, you're talking maybe cleaning. I think on the airlines, sometimes you'll see, sometimes those airplanes are not as clean as they need to be. So maybe you have a cleaning service, right? A contract cleaning service, and you want to clean and sanitize these airlines. I think that's a valid point. So perhaps you can contact Southwest procurement officials and offer your services to clean those airplanes, right? Like I can sanitize, I can clean in record time, right? Get all of your planes sanitized quickly, right, for your passengers. And here's my value, and here's the benefit of that. That's something you could pitch to the airlines, and that is a procurement opportunity. Or maybe baggage, right? Think about this. How many times have you been to an airport and your bags were lost? And perhaps somebody had to transport your bags to your house. That's a contract opportunity. So you could be transportation to take people's luggage from the airlines or the airports to someone's home. That's a contract opportunity. So again, you could pitch to the procurement officials and say, I want to transport these people luggage to their house. I want to make sure this is my value. I am going to guarantee professional service. I have provided background checks to all of my personnel, and I want to transport these people luggage from the airport to their homes in record time. So the value added is that people get their luggage. You maintain excellent customer service. That could be a procurement opportunity. So those are just things to think about when you're trying to navigate. Well, what can I do? What type of services can I provide to the airlines? Now, the airports. What do you see in the airports, right? You see people cleaning. I think one time I was at an airport, I swear to you, they were changing out the trash every 5 minutes. So that could be like trash removal to airports, cleaning the bathrooms, because you know the high standards, vacuuming, maybe shampooing the carpet. But also, what else do you see? You see all the different vendors in the airport. So you see like the shirts, right? Welcome to DC, welcome to Maryland. Those are all procurement opportunities, as well as I know some of you get hungry, right? Some of you might be caterers offering food. So guess what? You can offer food to the airports, right? You can be one of the vendors. You ever see the small vendor trucks like in the airports, like you see they have the carts all throughout, or you see the brick and mortar. You see some like healthy foods, right, where they have salads. Some of the airports even have where you can pick up your items, right? Some chips, some soda, and you're not even physically there, right? They're just paying the money and taking the product. That is an actual procurement opportunity. Maybe you have the best restaurant, the best food, and perhaps you want the opportunity to showcase your food to the world. Guess what? That is a procurement opportunity. Every time I go into the airport, Chick-fil-A's line is all the way out the airport. McDonald's is all the way out the airport. So maybe you have some food, something quick. Make sure it's affordable, because a lot of times people in the airport, they're going to McDonald's and Chick-fil-A because it's familiar, but also because it's cheap, right? So you want to offer something that the masses want to eat, whether it's dessert, breakfast, coffee, right? Coffee could be a procurement opportunity. Maybe you have the best coffee in the world. So those are the types of opportunities. And guess what? It doesn't have to be millions of dollars for you to get into the airport. Many of the airports actually have incubator programs or programs where they'll allow you a test trial. They'll allow you to showcase and sell your product at the airport for a certain amount of time, right? Or they'll allow you to partner with other vendors where they have vendors like on a cycle, right? Selling products at the airport. Or, of course, if you have the money, right? If you can get the financing, perhaps you do have a brick and mortar at the airport and you're selling your products at the airport. I know you've seen Kylie Jenner, right? She has some of her products at the airport selling makeup products, because that could be out the box, right? You get off the airplane and you're running to an event and you need makeup, or perhaps you need hair products, right? I forgot my oil sheen, or some lotion, or whatever. That could be procurement opportunities. So there's various ways. So it could be products where you're selling your products, you're selling your hair products, you're selling the nail clippers or the food products or seasoning, you know, whatever it is, t-shirts. Or it could be that you're physically there, right? Where you're selling your services or your products. So you're selling breakfast, you're selling coffee. Again, you're offering janitorial services, you're offering the trash pickup services, or I know you've seen transportation, right? Where people that need to be assisted, they're getting pushed in a cart. That's also a procurement opportunity. Or the bus services, right? When people are being transported, right, from the airport to their cars, guess what? That's a procurement opportunity. So these are multiple opportunities. I'm giving you the insider scoop of opportunities at the airports. Another thing that comes up, I know some of you gamble, right? The casinos. So the casinos, again, using Maryland, right? But again, think about your local vicinity. Let's say MGM. So MGM is not only in Maryland, but it's also in Vegas and multiple other locations, correct? Or we have Maryland Live Casino, and we also have the Horseshoe Casino. So we have 3 casinos in our vicinity. I believe we actually have 4. I just do not know the 4th one. But the casinos have procurement opportunities. So guess what? You can look up MGM procurement opportunities, or Maryland Live procurement opportunities, or Horseshoe Casino procurement opportunities, and you can look and see what they have available. I can tell you some of the opportunities at the casinos for procurement. And when I say procurement, understand it's simultaneous with government contracting, but you're offering these services to private corporations like the casinos or the airports or the hospitals. So procurement is another word when we say government contracting. If you're looking for private sector, you want to search for procurement. So let's say MGM procurement opportunities. Some opportunities that MGM has is they have janitorial, they have landscaping, right? You can look for landscaping. The last time I went to an MGM event, do you know they had multiple spirit procurement opportunities? So what's the one with the whiskey? Uncle Nearest, right? Uncle Nearest actually is a brand that's procured by MGM. They have also, who else? They had a beer, like beer and brewery. They have vodka, tequila. So if you're a liquor brand, procurement at the casinos is very lucrative because again, you could be one of the preferred brands for that casino. And guess what? You can create your liquor brand at your local distillery. If you're interested in getting into that, hit me on the side. But you could produce your own vodka, tequila, whiskey, or rum at your local distillery. But just imagine if you produce that and then you did outreach and got a procurement opportunity at your local casino. So that is a procurement opportunity. And again, you will be one of their preferred vendors, right? So when they're distributing liquor at the bar, when they have events, you could be the brand at the casino. So that, again, procurement opportunities, look up liquor, janitorial. They have medical, right? People pass out. People are gambling 24/7. Oh my gosh, they passed out. That is a procurement opportunity to offer medical services to clients. They also have maybe events. Like you see the casinos, they have a lot of events. So perhaps you become their preferred vendor, right, to provide event services because people want their events coordinated, and perhaps the casinos can't do it all at once. Casinos also have food. So you see the different restaurants and vendors at casinos. That is a procurement opportunity. So when we talk procurement, I want you to think outside the box. What services do you provide? What services can you provide? And again, the number one thing I want you to remember is don't just go to their website and look at the procurement opportunities. If there's something that you want to provide to these different corporations or companies, I want you to actually meet with their procurement officials, ask them for a one-on-one meeting, and then be prepared to say, let's say, what can I offer the casinos? Let's say I offer unique Jamaican cuisine, right? Like I am going to bring together a group, right, of the aunties and uncles, and we are going to provide that real time, right? Real flavor Jamaican cuisine to your airport, right? That is something I see that is missing at the airports. We're going to have the rice and peas. We're going to have the snapper escovite, the brown stew snapper. We're going to bring in some curry goats. We're going to bring in some jerk chicken. And we think that your airport is missing that Caribbean flavor. So we want to bring it to your facility. Here's our sales numbers, right? We have 4 restaurants open throughout the United States. Here's our stats, right? Our foot traffic, the customers that have come in. Here's our social media. So you can see that there's a high demand for our flavors. Let's go, right? Like, why wouldn't I be in your airport? Why wouldn't I be in your casino? Why wouldn't I be in your facility, right? To offer my flavorful food. That's how you pitch. That's how you draw them in, where they say, you know what, we have this incubator program. We'll give you the spot for 6 months. You can sell your food. The rent is free, right? Because it's a grant. And we'll see how you do. And then if you're lucrative, right, perhaps we can offer a permanent place for you in our airport. That is an opportunity that can be afforded to you, right? But you have to pitch, you have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to know how to network. So first things first, if you don't remember anything from this discussion, you want to make sure that you understand the opportunities that are out there, right? So you have your federal opportunities, which you can find at sam.gov. And you also can look for the federal procurement forecast so you can see what's out there. So that's the highest level. You have your state opportunities. So let's say Maryland procurement opportunities. You have your county opportunities. So let's say Montgomery County procurement opportunities. You have your city, which let's say Albany or Rockville procurement opportunities, or Silver Spring procurement opportunities, or Washington, D.C. procurement opportunities. Then you also have your different entities. So airports, let's say BWI procurement opportunities, DCA procurement opportunities, Dulles procurement opportunities. You have your different casinos, MGM procurement opportunities. What else did I say? Maryland Live procurement opportunities, Horseshoe procurement opportunities. You also have your schools, right? Your local schools, your colleges and universities. So let's say Howard University procurement opportunities, University of Maryland procurement opportunities, Towson University procurement opportunities. Who else we got? Bowie State University procurement opportunities, Coppin State procurement opportunities. So those are opportunities. Or go to your community colleges, Prince George's Community College procurement opportunities, or Montgomery College procurement opportunities. Or if you're looking at your local schools, so if you have charter schools, you would go to that distinct charter school. Or let's say our schools have school districts. So you would look at the distinct school district, potentially procurement opportunities, or look at the local schools. And you can always talk to the school officials, like if your child is in elementary, or not your child, right? If you're interested in doing procurement at these local schools, right, you would look at your local elementary, middle or junior high school, and high school procurement opportunities. But I would physically go there, right? Talk to the principals, talk to the administrators. Also, of course, you can Google and see if they have procurement opportunities. And when I talk about schools, it could be anything. You could be offering to provide tutoring, after school programs. You could be offering to provide like career counseling services. You could be offering to provide like maybe music programs or extracurricular activities like sports and fitness programs. Those are procurement opportunities. Recently, I personally helped a client to establish a procurement opportunity for the local community centers, right? So for the community centers, think about this: basketball, right? So perhaps you want to procure and create an opportunity for basketball clinics or weight, right? Weightlifting, fitness clinics, or maybe you have a program that you want to do for senior citizens. That could be a procurement opportunity to provide like senior citizen fitness programs, or perhaps you have like some sort of mentoring program that you want to do for youth. That could be a procurement opportunity. And I would source that with like your local community centers, because many times they offer that and they may have opportunities for either for you to procure or to do individual contracting, a lot like summer camps. So they have grants for a lot of the summer youth programs, but perhaps you want to enter into a contract with your local schools or your local community centers or local entities to offer summer camps in STEM or other areas, right? STEM, music, arts, whatever you can think of. These are procurement opportunities. So I know some of you are thinking, well, the federal government cut all these contracts, right, for diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is true. That is correct. What other skills can you offer the federal government or these different entities? So I just gave you a whole bunch of different ideas, but let's go back to that. What does the federal government need right now? So the way that you would look for federal government opportunities that are needed today, right now, is you would look at the federal acquisition forecast. So you can Google, right? Federal government acquisition forecast. Google it right now, type in the comments. And I'll also put these links in the comments too. So I'll put the federal government procurement forecast. I'll put it in the comments shortly after the live. But when you look at the federal government procurement forecast, you'll be able to see everything that's forecasted at least until the end of 2025. So for federal governments, our procurement forecast currently goes in quarters. So you have quarter one, which started October 1st of 2024. So then you have quarter two, and you have quarter three, and then you have quarter four. Quarter four ends September 30th, 2025. So you have to think about what quarter we're in. So quarter one is done, right? Quarter two, current. Now you're looking at quarter three, quarter four for the future. So you would look for opportunities in quarter three, quarter four, if you're planning for right now for 2025. You look and see what's been allocated, right? What contract opportunities are out there for quarter three and quarter four. And ultimately, you would match those opportunities with the services that you provide. You don't know what's out there. So I always say, don't get stuck, right, in just this one pocket. Look and see what the government is looking for and look and see if you could provide those services. So some things that the government may have out there, let's say leadership development. Cool. 9 times out of 10, if you were teaching DEI, you understand leadership and development and how organizations should navigate. So look for those type of opportunities. Executive coaching is a big one. So especially if you are certified with the International Coach Federation, and I would say PCC or above, but ACC is okay. But typically they're now starting to ask for the higher level, right? PCC or MCC, which International Coach Federation, and then you have associate certified coach, and then you have professional certified coach, and then you have master certified coach, just higher levels of certification, because they want to coach the leaders, right? They want the leaders to be better leaders. You have a lot of procurement opportunities for event planning. So if you're an event planner putting together these large conferences it's always typically focused on leaders or a distinct skill set, within the government, but perhaps you put together conferences. So if you're an event planner or if you have that skill set, look for procurement opportunities in that realm. You see that the federal government is returning back to work, right? So there will be opportunities for space, right? Maybe they're looking for building space, especially for people that might be off-site, away from Washington, D.C. or the main headquarters. They might be looking for building space for their different workers in buildings. So they might say, okay, does anyone have a facility or a space for us? So maybe you can acquire a space and sell it to the government for them to rent to house their personnel that are coming back to work. You may have opportunities for procurement for transportation, because guess what? When people come back to work, a lot of times we have to ride share. So that could be a contract to offer the bus, the charter services, the shuttle, like vans to get people to and from, right? We have people that live in Pennsylvania that work in DC or that work in Maryland. So they require transportation to and from Pennsylvania. Like they'll meet up at a carpool location and then you transport them to Maryland and transport them back. That could be a contract. Also, a lot of IT, right? Again, people are coming back into offices, or the government is currently transitioning, and technology is always changing. So perhaps there's implementation of ServiceNow. Like ServiceNow is a big provider that's offering services to the government, or Salesforce. So ServiceNow or Salesforce can't necessarily sell directly to the government. So you would be like that middle person. You would be talking to ServiceNow, and you would become the provider that's helping to implement, that is selling that product or those licenses to the government. So that could be a contract, or it could be supplies where maybe the VA requires washing machines, right? And this is a real contract, washers and dryers. Maybe you have access to purchase 10 washers and dryers. So you could potentially get a contract to sell the government those 10 washers and dryers. You would essentially negotiate the deal with the vendor, whoever you purchase those washers and dryers from, and then provide the government a price of how much you're going to sell those products to the government for. That is a contract. A very real contract for the prison systems. There was a contract for mirrors, right? They wanted 100 mirrors for this prison. They had very distinct specifications, but whoever the supplier was, it would be you purchasing those 100 mirrors. So you would find a supplier that can create those distinct mirrors, enter, whatever contract with that supplier. Okay, I'm going to purchase these mirrors from you at this particular cost, and then you provide the government with your cost. So take into account, if you're doing supplies, you want to factor in how much it's going to cost to ship, the time, your time, right? What's basically how much is your time worth, as well as all the logistics, taxes, all of that. So make sure you consider that so you don't undersell yourself. So you're not selling the government 100 mirrors for $10 per mirror when actually it costs you a total of $30, right? To actually get that mirror to the government. You want to factor in all of that with your costs. Another thing could be hair, right? You may have like cancer patients that require wigs and weaves and hair or makeup or whatever it is. So that could be a contract to come in and do their hair or do those wigs or do, whatever that distinct clientele needs. Also, it could be food. People have to eat, especially people coming back to office, right? So now there might be opportunities to open up like the grab and goes, like people like the snacks. We like to eat all day, right? The salads, the cookies, the drinks, the coffee. I could foresee a lot of contracts popping up specifically to offer those food services, the quick grab and goes to the government. So look for those opportunities. Listen, even if you have a card for Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, you could potentially purchase all those products and sell them, right, to government workers, like have like a little grab and go shack, right, in government agencies to offer those services. If you've ever been in government facilities, you see those providers are all contractors. And sometimes the food isn't even that good. I know you can do better. Cleaning facilities, right? So many of these government agencies have been empty for what years? Since 2019, 2020. Okay, now that people are returning back to office, now there's going to be janitorial contracts because you got to clean these facilities. You got to make sure those bathrooms are up to par, those floors are nice and buffed, the offices are dusted, the trash is taken out. So janitorial contracts are definitely probably going to be lucrative, and I would say the upcoming forecast. Also, some things to think about for federal agencies will be IT, right? You got all these people coming back to office. Don't they need computers, laptops, equipment, screens? That could be a request. I foresee that coming out, right, in a very near future as far as supplies, right? We need 1,000, right, laptops to provide to our workforce. And they may have a vendor. They may say Dell, they may say Apple, but guess what? They're not going to Apple or Dell. They need to go to you as a contractor. So you would negotiate a contract or possibly a relationship with Dell or Apple, like become one of their suppliers, one of their trusted vendors, and then you would sell those laptops or that equipment to the government. So that is a contract. Other things would be, guess what? A lot of people are transitioning from the government. Look at that as opportunity to educate, financial readiness, right? Many people are thinking about these different options as far as the voluntary resignation or VERA, which is the retirement. Guess what? They might need help, right? How do I financially plan, right? How do I financially forecast? How do I get myself together? So think about this. That's an opportunity for you to do a contract to teach people how to prep, right? Whether it's retirement planning, investments, that could be a contract if that's your forte. Also, think about this. Whenever we go through a transition, it doesn't matter what administration comes in or goes out, resiliency, right? Mental wellness, how to deal with a transition. If that's your forte and you can teach government, maybe some of you are retired executives, and you've been through this, that could be a contract. So I'm going to give you this tea, right? This is going to be some hot tea. So make sure you have your notepads out. So you have your contracts, right, over a certain threshold. But guess what? For the federal government, let's say 10,000 and below, right? Those micro contracts that are not going to be on sam.gov. You're not going to see them. You have to have a relationship with some of these decision makers, right? I would say OCHICO, right? The Office of Chief Human Capital Officer. So those are people dealing with personnel and dealing with all of the HR type issues. Guess what? They may need you. Like if you have a book about finances or a book about transition or a book about leadership or a book about resilience, guess what? You could possibly enter into a micro contract to offer that training to government officials, right? To offer webinars. Maybe, we have people that offer webinars for certain things for the government. Like there's certain things that government officials have to be trained on. We have to be trained on sexual harassment. You have to be trained on, again, resiliency. You have to be trained on what else? What else am I thinking about? Like IT, right? IT practices, like basically how to make sure that you protect, right, the data, insider threats. All of those things are contracts. Like you could ultimately offer to sell the government licenses, sell the government training on those distinct contracts. So think about, especially all of you that are retiring, all of you that have been in the government, you know what the government needs to be trained on. That could be a contract. So think 10,000 and below, you can talk to different government officials. So make sure you show up to these different government conferences, government events, Again, if you know government officials, like connect with them on LinkedIn, right? Start creating these relationships. Maybe go live, like you see me going live today, and set yourself as that authoritative figure and ultimately sell the government your product, right? Your training. Like, I want to teach the government about financial readiness. I want to teach the government about wellness, right? Like, how are you practicing self care and dealing with all of this? That could be a book, that could be a training that you sell to the government for 10,000 and below. And guess what? That's a contract, that is past performance. So these are just practical ways that you can get your foot in the door and offer your services, and not just at the federal level, right? If the federal government is going through all these changes and transitions, also all of the other entities that I told you about will need these services. So I'm talking your state, your local, your county, your different corporations like the Amazons, the Googles, the Microsoft. They need your services, and all of them have procurement opportunities. And if I said the name, make sure you look up procurement opportunities, Microsoft procurement opportunities, Amazon procurement opportunities, because guess what? They need your services. They have contracts for you, right? I know a big one, the US Postal Services. Woo! They are cutting a lot of people from the US Postal Service, but all of you want your mail, right? So if you can get your hands on a vehicle with the right side, right? Because they have to have the right side to be able to deliver the mail. Guess what? That could be a contract opportunity. And the USPS is partnered with Amazon. So they have to deliver mail 7 days a week. Many people don't know that, right? Because Amazon has that, the 1 day shipping, right? You want to satisfy your customers. That could be a contract. And you think about the holidays, that's a big time. Sometimes they'll have emergency contracts to make sure that all of the holiday mail is getting out. So if you're into delivering mail, don't really need a distinct skill set, but you will need the vehicle to be able to hold all the mail and to be able to deliver. That could be a contract. So if you're into logistics, you understand the mail system, definitely connect with me, right? That could be a contract. And I can tell you how to seek out those type of opportunities, because that is going to be a big need. I want all of you to get your mail, and especially in the rural areas. So some of the popular areas, right, the metro areas, they'll probably still try to maintain and keep those manned, but some of the rural areas, they may have some issues, right? So they may need you. So if you're in those vicinities, maybe you're retired, maybe you're looking for something to do, delivering mail could be a contract for you. So I'm going to stop and take a breather, because I want all of you to take all of this in. So was this helpful to you? I hope that I helped you to understand the simplicity of contracts. Now, some of you may say, well, where do I find all these contracts? So I gave you the inside tea, but sam.gov, right? When you go to sam.gov and you do search, you want to look for the request for quotes. You want to look for sources sought, and you want to look for proposals or RFPs. I also would highly recommend Instant Markets, and that's markets with the S at the end, Instant Markets. That's another great site to source from. On Instant Markets, what you would do is type the keyword, right? Leadership development, IT, janitorial, and just source. And with Instant Markets, what happens is the contract will come up. You'll select the contract or the RFP. And what you'll do is, once you select, you want to go to the main site. So then that leads you to the actual site where that contract is sourced. So let's say like it was on Emma or sam.gov, it will take you to that distinct website. So that also helps you to get to know the different procurement portals that you can directly go to, right? And make sure that you bookmark the procurement portals, right? sam.gov, acquisition.gov to look for the procurement forecast, bookmark. Instant Markets, bookmark, right? So you remember to go to that distinct website, right, to source. Also, as I said, you want to use Google. Google is your best friend. So go to Google and just type up, first of all, procurement events. So I want all of you to make a commitment to attend at least one procurement event a month, right? Just look up procurement events in your local city, state. I want you all to attend. So you can find them in Google. You can find many procurement events on Eventbrite as well. Commit to attending at least one procurement event live so you can connect, network, so you can learn and get those opportunities. Also, I want you to use ChatGPT and use some of these other AI sources where you can basically say, I'm located in Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to source, right, for 10 procurement opportunities that are coming due within the next 10 days in janitorial or in IT or in leadership development. So as you're sourcing, right, and as it provides you the list, you can look and see and tell it to provide you the procurement portals for those opportunities, right? So you say, I'm located in Baltimore, Maryland. My specialty is leadership and development. Please provide me 10 procurement opportunities within the next 30 days. And please provide the procurement portals so I can source these opportunities and apply. And ChatGPT, Claude AI, Perplexity, they will provide you those opportunities, right? And then you have a list and procurement portals to source from. And then also don't forget good old Google. You can look up your colleges and universities like Bowie State procurement opportunities, University of Maryland procurement opportunities, Howard University procurement opportunities, as well as you can look up your local casinos, right? MGM procurement opportunities, Maryland Live procurement opportunities. So good old Google still works and it's tried and true. So I want you just to keep it very simple, right? Use AI tools to help you so you can streamline and organize your life. But don't forget about Google. Keep it simple and also think about the services that you provide as well as who you want to provide those services to, whether it's your airlines, your airports, your colleges and universities, your local hospitals, right? Because they also have procurement opportunities. They need supplies. Perhaps you want to provide services to the federal government or your local, state, and county government. So think about who you want to provide those services to, and it will help you to organize and source better. So I hope this was helpful to you. And if it was, let me know. I will pop up. So my time will be 12 p.m. on Sundays or 1 p.m. on Sundays. Let me know which time is better to provide these live services to you, the live webinars, live training to you to help you with government contracting, to help you simplify your life, and to help you understand how to not only navigate into government contracting, but to play to win. So I am Dr. Ebony Gray. You can find me at Dr. Ebony Gray on all platforms. Right now, I'm sourcing live from TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Is that and YouTube? So Dr. Ebony Gray. Find me on all platforms at Dr. Ebony Gray on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I will be here every Sunday live giving you insider tips and winning strategies for government contracts. If this was helpful to you, please like, comment, and share because I am here to help you. And if you decide you want to work with me one-on-one, my link will be in all of my bios, and I'll also provide the link in the chats so you can schedule, right, a strategic planning session or one-on-one session with me so we can get you to winning those government contracts. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly appreciate all of your support. My website is www.graysconsultinggroup.com. Again, that's www.graysconsultinggroup.com. And you can connect with me at Dr. Ebony Gray on all platforms. Thank you, and I hope you have a great Sunday.